And we are back again, everybody. Hello. Part 2 of Mario's channeled consciousness commute to work on Friday, August 16th. I stopped somewhere for a quick bite to eat. It was delicious. I had a cheeseburger with some fries. Yes, I ate a cheeseburger with fries. One of the great things about living in a less populated area, not living in a big ass fucking city, living in an area where you're surrounded by farmland and generations of people who have just been here, is you get a lot of good businesses that serve local ingredients, local vegetables, local meat in their restaurants. You know, on my way to work, I drive past, I don't know, maybe 2 different beef farms, and it's not like Texas. All right, I've driven through Texas. Disgusting. Absolutely disgusting what's going on there with the cattle and the way they treat them and how it smells. It's fucking horrible. Inhumane. But out here, you're driving through the mountains, you see them, they're all happy, sunbathing, big old hills, rolling hills and grass, chilling. They got them big old ass fucking horns. Well, them horns be like 4 feet long. That's the meat I'm eating. Hell yeah. Or shall I say heavens yes. Trying to reprogram my mind and some of the things I say, you know. Instead of saying hell yeah, I'm trying to say heavens yes. You know? Heavens yes. Oh heavens yes. Something that is so interesting about disclosure and all of the things that, all the truth that we're learning about our world and our governments and the history of the world, like ancient ass fucking history. What's so fascinating about it to me is how much I was channeling and tapping into it long before I even knew it was a thing. You see, I used to be a passionate writer back in the day. Like how I was saying in the first transmission of today, I had to grieve aspects of myself that were changing and leaving me or being suppressed and forgotten because of the many things I was going through, y'all. You guys, I was hit by cars 3 fucking times, and they were not little taps. Like, I was hit by vehicles on a bicycle, and then I had a fucking stroke, and then I had brain tumors and all kinds of weird fuckery targeting me physically and non-physically. Dude, you guys, I was fucking going through a lot of shit, man. And in that time, I got put in a cage, man. I got beat down. And I changed, you guys. I changed. And this was a thing I went through for years. And I'm working so hard and coming back to myself. And trust me, it's work. It is work. I have to undo the years of letting myself go with equal amounts of years of building myself back up. It's hard. It's work. But it's good. I'm grateful. I fucking overcame it. I am a champion. Victorious. But anyways, I used to be a passionate writer. That's all you'd see me do. Literally, that is all you would see me do. Is sitting at a park bench, sitting at a library, sitting at a coffee shop, writing poetry, writing in thoughts in my journal, writing my dreams, my visions, writing books, writing screenplays, writing poetry, short stories. You guys, I had a number of different literature projects that I was working on for years. I'm fucking serious. For years of character development, story development, years of studying and researching and channeling these visions that I would get, these downloads that I would get at a very young age. You know, this started for me at age 17 when I began writing. And then China came around. Fucking China. Not the China you think. Not the country. But a woman. A woman named China came into my life. And we dated. She was a girlfriend of mine for a while. And it was so weird how we got together. So fucking weird. I got invited by another friend. She was like, "Yo, I'm going to this event in Portland, this psychic meetup event at someone's house, and there's going to be all these different psychics and practitioners. You should come. It's an open house." Fuck yeah, that sounds awesome. I'll be right over. And so I'm there. And I get there before any of my friends do, and I'm enjoying the energy. And I had this one encounter with this one person. And then eventually my friends show up and we're having a good time. And there was this girl. This beautiful black woman with dreads, with long dreads. You know, and she came and she was interacting with my friends, and I had an attraction towards her. And there was a moment where I was like, okay, this would be the point where I would ask her for her number. And when I had that thought, I had a counter thought that just came in right away that said, no, stay away. Stay away from this person. So I was like, oh, shit. All right. So, you know what I did? I left the house. I went outside and I made a phone call. And you know who I called? I called my sister. And I was like, hey, man, how you doing? I'm out here in Portland at this thing. You know, it's kind of cool. Blah, 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 blah. You mind if I come over later after this? You know? And I just hung outside until my friends were done and we were ready to leave together. And I was like, I'm not going to ask her for her number. I don't care. Because for whatever that was that came into my mind that said, no, stay away, I'm going to listen to it. I'm going to listen to it. So, you know, about 2, maybe 3 weeks went by. And then I got a friend request on Facebook along with an email on my email, because something I didn't think of was how I put down my information at the sign-up sheet. When you enter the house, there was a sign-in sheet of like who's here, leave your contact if you want to know more events or whatever. And she found me, this woman who I was told by my guides to stay away from. And when she found me, I was like, oh wow, for the first time in my life, a woman is pursuing me. Cool. Let's do this. Maybe this is something that should happen. All right, I'm down. So, you know, we started dating, and she was ex-military. She was in the Air Force from the Midwest, Ohio. And, you know, I was like, what brought you to Oregon? What brought you to Portland? And she's like, you know, I was just thinking, like, where should I go And something just pulled me to come to Oregon. And I was like, oh, wow, that's interesting. Long story short, super long story made short. She was a MK Ultra sex kitten, ex-military, sent after me to break and stomp my heart. It's a long story, y'all. It's a long fucking story. I shared this story on the last time I was on Matthew Mornian's podcast. It's an epic tale, you guys. It's a fucking epic tale. Anyways.
I see you.
When it came to the point of getting her out of my life, because she was literally having alters come in trying to kill me. I have witnesses. I have tons of witnesses. And so I kicked her out of my life, and I was like, get the hell out of here, bitch. Go back to the Midwest. And while she was packing, getting ready to take a Greyhound back to Ohio, you know what she did? She stole all of my writing projects. Literally, all of them. She stole every single fucking piece that I wrote, you guys. I'm telling you, this was years, hours, hundreds, if not thousands of hours that I have spent passionately channeling and writing these stories of various of different stories. Some of them were like really intense, that came as intense downloads that took time to, write. Other ones were just creative, fun projects. Nonetheless, she took them all, you guys. She took every fucking single piece. And that fucking discouraged the fucking hell out of me, dude. When that happened, I was like, I'm done. I give up. I don't even know how to start over. I don't even know where to start over. And if I start over, it's not going to be the same, because the way that I wrote things, the words that I chose, the descriptions, the settings, and all the poeticness of it all, it escaped me. But I still have them. I still have them all in my mind. But and I'm working on inspiring myself to start over on all these things. But I'll get there. They won't be the same. They might even be better. They might even be a lot better than how they were before, because I sure have grown and matured and stepped into my power in ways that I never have before. So anyways, one of the stories that I wrote, one of the books that I was writing, book/screenplay, was called Dark Side of the Moon. Dark Side of the Moon. And this began as a download. Okay, so how I began to channel this download, this was right around when I found astrology. So you guys, I found astrology at the age 17 years old, okay? This is how long, I'm 34 now. That's how long I've been fucking doing astrology, okay? Do the math. Age 17, I'm now 34. All right, it's a long fucking time. That's like half my life right now, or more than half my life, So anyways, I was looking up at the moon one night, and I was like, okay, hold on, you guys, hold on. How is it that the same side of the moon is always facing Earth? How? No, that wasn't the right question. It wasn't how. It was why. That was the question I was asking. Why is the same side of the moon always facing Earth? Because I understood how. I remember that fucking science class, I remember the math of the Earth's rotation and all that shit, and I know how. But why? That's what I was asking one day, sitting at a bus stop looking at the moon. Why? How precise could this have been? This is incredible. How did this happen? And then it came to me, this whole download, this whole fucking vision. And I was like, oh my God, this is gonna fucking be such an awesome book series. It's gonna make me rich. Yes. And so I will tell you the elevator pitch of this story, Dark Side of the Moon. So the setting of the movie takes place in modern times, but it goes back to far ancient times. It goes back to ancient Atlantis, ancient Egypt, and where the Mayan pyramids are, where the temples are. And even more, all around the world. All the pyramids all around the world. And so what happened was, the moon is the satellite for supernatural, divine, cosmic energies to pass through into our atmosphere and be received by the consciousness of humanity here. Because in astrology, the moon is our intuitive subconscious mind. And if the moon is locked, if one side of the moon is locked facing Earth, then that is the veil, the so-called veil created. Because now we are only experiencing a limited capacity of what our intuition and our subconscious is able to receive from the divine supernatural all around. And this is both supernatural in the negative sense and the positive sense. Demons, angels, gods, fairies, extraterrestrials, all that sort of stuff. So once upon a time, far, far ancient times, the math was different. In far ancient times, we used to see that far side of the moon because the math and the magnetics were set differently. And we would have a longer lunar cycle, and we would get that full rotation, which was basically humanity having full access to their potential of their magic, of their ability to do things magically. But then there was a group of people in ancient Atlantis that wanted to limit humanity's capacity and what they were able to accomplish. Because they began to have a mind virus that was self-serving. And they saw themselves as more superior. And they began creating their own occult practices that were inverted, perverted, distorted. And so the fall of Atlantis took place within this small group of people that wanted to rule the world, rule humanity. And they used the crystal skulls and all the pyramids in the world with all the crystal skulls, and they performed a ritual. They performed a ritual with technology. This was advanced spiritual science magic to dial the moon and bring it closer and lock it in so that way it's set in this motion where only one side of the moon is facing Earth. And when they did that and when they performed that, it created the veil. It created the amnesia effect, and it perpetuated this decline in human intelligence, this decline in our potential and magic. So in the book that I was writing, there was this woman who was a daughter of an amazing historian, adventurer, Indiana Jones type of guy, and this woman was studying things, right? She was studying these occults and found this breakaway civilization in ancient Egypt. In ancient Egypt, before the Roman Empire was coming in, and the fall of the all the Egyptian dynasties, there was a cult group, okay, and these people remembered and knew what happened in ancient Atlantis, and they wanted to free the moon. They wanted to free the moon and restore the power to everyone, to the world, because this didn't just affect humans, it affected animals, mythical creatures that we call mythical, but were once thriving. Dragons, unicorns, griffins, all that stuff. So they were like, we need to fucking free the moon, y'all. And we can't do it here because they'll fucking kill us. So this was like Nefertiti, I chose Nefertiti and her daughters, right? These high priestess initiates. They broke away with their followers to create their own order. And they had a breakaway civilization that was kept very secret. And they were getting ready to perform the ritual magic using the Nile River, the land, the pyramid to free the moon. So, this woman, she discovers this unknown breakaway, small civilization, super small civilization. It was just like one temple with like a little village and ancient ruins. And she was like, what the fuck? This is nowhere to be known in the historical records of this, completely erased from history. And I've discovered it. And in the discovery, she discovered ancient scrolls. Far more older than anything she's ever seen before, because they come from the Atlantean civilization. And she was able to decode the scrolls, but not on her own, because she didn't know how to decode them. But she was able to decode the scrolls, bringing them back to her home with all of her father's things. And her father was an owner of one of the crystal skulls. And there was, something happened with the moonlight, and the moonlight hit one of the crystal skulls, and the crystal skulls shot a beam into her brain, and she downloaded so many memories where she understood what happened. And now she was on a mission. She was on a mission to free the moon. She activated and inherited the memories of what happened. And now it's her turn to try to free the moon. And so the story is about her working on gathering all the crystals, finding the right people. And then there are bleed-through memories. Because then, as the story progresses, there are bleed-through memories because it just so happens that she was there in ancient Atlantis trying to stop those people back then from locking in the moon. And now she is back. She's reincarnated and she's back, and she remembers now, and she's trying to free it. And those people, those ancient Atlanteans that were trying to lock the moon back then, they never died. They were still here alive. And so then they were after her. And it's just crazy fucking story of her unlocking magic abilities, being able to protect her, being able to move, and gathering these crystals, all the crystal skulls, and freeing the moon. So something that just blows my mind is that is a whole fucking story that downloaded into me. And when I started diving into these conspiracies about the Freemasons and the Illuminati and ancient Atlantis and the moon and the bases on the moon. Like, I didn't know about all those things as I was writing and channeling. Like, there were so many things that I did not know about that I was just straight channeling. Anyways, so then the next series, right? The next parts of this epic tale is they successfully free the moon. It was not easy. But they successfully freed the moon. And when they did that, for the first time in hundreds of thousands of years, the other side of the moon slowly began turning and facing Earth. And so then the next part of the series is experiencing this extended lunar cycle until the full moon happens. And by the time the next full moon happens, it is a full moon of the other side of the moon facing Earth. And so that whole lunar cycle, it is a gradual process. It is a gradual process of humanity awakening and the veil dissolving. And at first, it causes nothing but fucking chaos. And the reason why it causes chaos is because humanity, for generations, within their DNA, within their mind, within the technology all around them, and the food, the water, and the sky, and everything, has been deeply programmed. And there are so many fucking generational layers of trauma, perversion, inverted distortion within the mind and the subconscious mind. And because the moon acts as a satellite and a portal of the mind and our manifesting abilities, so when the moon just started to just barely showing a percentage of that other side, it wreaked havoc because people were dealing with their demons, with ghosts, in a way that was more in your fucking face. And it gradually increased, and it became this total fucking global battle between light and dark in a way that you can't fucking see, in a way you could never thought of, until the people that exist on Earth that so, you know, the woman who did this, she wasn't the only one that reincarnated. There were thousands of other people that were with her back then in ancient Atlantis that also reincarnated. And with amnesia, they were following their guidance and doing their work in ascending their consciousness. And when that woman freed the moon, and because they worked themselves up to this level of purification and opening, they were able to ascend and integrate into their solar light body and basically help the masses around the world that were in hysteria find themselves again, get into right balance, and order was restored and humanity was free once again. So yeah, I'm telling you guys, I've had hundreds of pages written of this story that I worked on for, let's see, 6 years. I was working on this fucking story, and this woman stole it from me. And when she was back in Ohio, and I'm like, where is my writing? She's like, oh, I was living in a car out here in Ohio, and it broke down, and then it got impounded, and it's gone, and I don't know where it is. So literally, oh my God, sometimes it makes me want to cry, but literally everything that I fucking wrote, poured my soul into, it's gone. It's gone. And so I'm sharing this story because it's time. I want to come back. I want to come back into myself. I want to finish the job. Peace, everybody.